And tonight's headlines. At least 5 people are dead and more than 40 others injured after a fire broke out in a 60-year-old tenement building in Jordan, which included several guest houses and subdivided flats. Residents worry about health risks after a blaze at a construction site in Tin Shui Wai continues to burn after 24 hours. Ratings agency Fitch downgrades China's sovereign credit rating from stable to negative. Hundreds of people were yelling for help in desperation after a fire broke out at New Lucky House in Jordan at around 7:50 a.m. The blaze was upgraded to a number 3 alarm within 10 minutes. Those trapped in their units tried to draw the attention of firefighters by the windows. Others were more fortunate, such as this domestic helper who went out to get breakfast just before the fire started. Still, she couldn't hold back her tears, fearing for her employer's safety. This resident living on the 4th floor recalled being woken up by the fire alarm. I tried to escape to the streets, but the smoke was too thick, so I ended up going upstairs instead, she said. "41 people suffered injuries of various degrees, with 38 of them sent to hospital. Three men and 2 women were pronounced dead. 4 of them were found in the stairwell of the corridor inside the building. Rescuers discovered the remaining person on the canopy on the 1st floor and suspected that the deceased had fallen from a height in a desperate bid to escape. Fire Services Divisional Commander Lam Kin Kwan explained the blaze broke out near the lobbies of the 1st and 2nd floors, where a gym and a guest house are located. The fire, covering an area of 20 meters by 20 meters, was largely contained by 10:30 a.m.
We have found that some plastic board and some electric wiring are installed at the lobby on 1st floor. So it may be one of the reasons that caused the fire and also the smoke lock alongside the corridor as well as the staircase.
A task force led by a senior divisional officer has been set up to probe the cause of the blaze and why it led to so many casualties. Police will also conduct a criminal investigation. Built in 1964 at the junction of Nathan Road and Jordan Road, New Lucky House is well known among budget travelers looking for cheap accommodation. The mixed-use complex is also home to a number of subdivided units. Janice Low, Cable News. Those who sustained injuries in the fire at New Lucky House in Jordan were sent to 4 hospitals. Meeting the press after visiting the injured at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Chief Executive John Lee said he was deeply saddened by the incident and sent his deepest condolences to the dead victims' families. He has instructed all units to focus on rescue, investigation, support, and relief work. Lee revealed that the identities of 2 dead victims are yet to be confirmed. Out of more than 20 people admitted in hospitals, 5 are critical, while 8 of them are in serious condition. Lee said the authorities will look into the cause of the fire and check if there were any unauthorized structures inside the building. More than 130 people who needed assistance were taken to a temporary relief shelter, which has been set up at the nearby Henry G. Leung Yau Ma Tei Community Center.
More than 24 hours since a massive fire broke out at this construction site in Hongshui-Q, firefighters are still battling to contain the inferno. The blaze originated in a basement level, but soon spread to a total area of approximately 70 meters by 80 meters. While residents at nearby housing estates did not have to evacuate, they had to put up with unpleasant conditions. This man said he detected a strong and irritant smell from his home on the second floor of Hong Fook Estate. After an overnight operation at the peripheral areas, firefighters were finally able to survey the basement this morning and begin tackling the blaze in the afternoon. Fire Services Department Assistant Director Lee Kun Yao said that they will require an additional period of time to completely extinguish the fire. The exact duration remains uncertain. His colleagues earlier described the situation as challenging, citing temperatures of up to 500 degrees Celsius and thick smoke. Over 390 firefighters were deployed to the scene, while a fire extinguishing robot was also seen in action. A drone with thermal imaging capabilities was also dispatched to help firefighters devise a suitable strategy. Around 150 construction workers evacuated safely yesterday. The buildings department also reassured the public that 2 cranes at the site, measuring 60 to 70 meters in height, were not at immediate risk of collapse. Emergency services were first alerted at around 1:20 p.m. yesterday. The Fire Services Department classified the blaze as a 3rd alarm before 3 p.m., before upgrading it to a number 4 alarm at 9:30 p.m. The construction project is part of the Housing Society's effort to rehouse residents affected by redevelopment in Hong Shui Q and Ha Tsuen. Chief Executive James Chan apologized for the inconvenience caused to nearby residents. He added engineers must now survey the damage before concluding whether the project can complete as scheduled in 2026. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
In a landmark ruling, the parents of a teenager who fatally shot 4 students at his school have been sentenced to 15 years in jail in the U.S. state of Michigan. James and Jennifer Crumley were found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. They expressed regret about their son's actions and apologized to the victims' families. Ethan Crumley, then 15 years old, carried out the shooting spree in 2021 with a gun purchased by his parents. He is now serving life in prison without parole. Prosecutors alleged that his parents had dismissed prior warnings about their child's mental health. Staff at Oxford High School had shown them a disturbing drawing from their son just hours before the shooting.
Parents are not expected to be psychic. But these convictions are not about poor parenting. These convictions confirm repeated acts or lack of acts that could have halted an oncoming runaway train. About repeatedly ignoring things that would make a reasonable person feel the hair on the back of their neck stand up. Opportunity knocked over and over again, louder and louder, and was ignored. No one answered, and these 2 people should have and sure didn't.
The couple, who have been remanded for more than 2 years, are eligible for parole as soon as 2031. In another shooting incident in the United States, Chicago police released body cam footage showing how a 26-year-old black man was shot dead during a traffic stop. But many are now asking whether the officers had used excessive force by firing nearly 100 shots in less than a minute.
Open the door now! Open the door now! Open the door now! Unlock the door now! Open the door now!
Dexter Reed was asked to step out of his vehicle during a traffic stop for not wearing the seatbelt. The incident took place last month, but the footage was released only yesterday. Preliminary evidence suggested that Reed opened fire first, injuring an officer. A gun was later recovered from his vehicle. The officers are on administrative leave until the investigation is complete.
Beijing has expressed regret after ratings agency Fitch downgraded China's sovereign credit rating from stable to negative, just months after Moody's did the same. Fitch said the revision came amid growing risks to public finances and a rocky transition to what officials believe to be a more sustainable growth model. With fiscal policy increasingly likely to play an important role in supporting growth, the agency believes that debt could climb further in the coming years. It also forecast government deficit to rise to 7.1% of China's gross domestic product this year. That's compared to 5.8% last year, and the highest since the ratio reached a record 8.6% in 2020. Fitch also poured cold water on China's economic recovery. It forecast GDP to grow by 4.5% in 2024, a sharp decline from 5.2% last year. It blamed the downturn on the sluggish property market and subdued household consumption. The finance ministry rebutted the pessimistic predictions in a statement. It says China's target of 5% growth this year is both realistic and necessary, while its goal to drive the deficit to GDP ratio down to 3% is based on a series of risk mitigation measures. The world's second largest economy has retained its A+ issuer default rating, although the negative outlook means it could be lowered in the long run. Raymond Yan Cable News.